So should transgender women be allowed to compete in biological women sports?
No.
Yeah, tricky one.
Well, you're going to say yes then.
No. Not all sports are the same. For example, combat sports, contact sports, very different. I don't know if you're familiar with the case of an American MMA transgender athlete called Fallon Fox. Well, Fallon Fox was competing in cage fighting, or MMA as Danny was talking about, and hadn't long transitioned from man, and also her opponents were unaware. So women were fighting Fallon Fox, unaware that Fallon Fox was, so they didn't even have the choice. And some of it was, all of it was very difficult to watch.
But to be honest, I think as well, I don't think they won't do anything about it until there's an actual death, because that could have got really dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, because if you think about like the genetics with strength and other things, you know, it's really dangerous. You know, that's why they'd never put. It is a very complex issue, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But I still think that if someone was a man, they shouldn't be fighting a woman.
Yeah, but I guess that's the thing. Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like if you say yes, they should, but then I say combat sports, I think no. But then how do you say you can in some sports, then not in others?
I suppose you could let it happen as long as the woman takes some steroids. You know, that might sort of even
well, that
it
is
out.
yeah. And also, I think there's some sports that I don't see why women don't compete with men anyway. Go cross gender, like darts. A woman could play a man at darts.
That's fair enough.
Couldn't they? That's not like football. They could do that, but they don't. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's combat sports, which is the issue, I think.
Oh yeah, any contact, but combat especially. Yeah.
If
so
it's
not
MMA,
athletics or anything like that?
if it's MMA, just let the girls have a couple of Stellas fine. I live above a pub, and trust me, after about 15 Stellas, then women are vicious.
Oh, poof, yeah. Come here, you slag! Yeah, they'd run in with a high heel on your head, though, wouldn't they? Do you know what I mean? Charging at you with that. Have some of that. Hit the stiletto over your head. You know, they wouldn't be doing MMA.
Surely athletics would be fine. What do you reckon?
No.
No, Denzel?
No, I don't think so. Simple enough.
Why not?
Well, throwing a javelin, or shot put, or discus. These things, they're geared around strength, obviously an awful lot of technique as well. I suppose anybody can learn the technique and still do a good job, but you still need an awful lot of strength. And for a lady to, for a man rather, to go into, say, a ladies' sport afterwards, there's going to be a massive disadvantage, and I think it's a disadvantage in certain areas.
Trampolining?
Trampolining, or anybody can trampoline. It's the same level. I don't think. But
saying that, you talk about contact sports. I remember when I first started doing judo, and there was this girl, and she used to knock the shit out of me. She used to throw me all over. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there is that. But that the main reason that was because she knew a hell of a lot more than I did. But when people are on the same level, strength comes into play then, you know. But darts, snooker, I think, I'd be up for. Yeah.
What about football?
When you were telling that story and saying, this woman used to throw me all around, and the main reason for that is she knew me. She didn't like me. I thought that's what you were going to say.
Yeah. She knew what I was up to. She knew what I was about.
But yeah, that's an unpleasant thought, and I would like to retract it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No, but this sports has always been gendered. You have like the female event, and why not just do away with that then? And just say it's just the 100 metres final, anyone can enter it. And just do away with it that way. Because
my Whippet Percy, he would do very well in the 100 metres.
Yeah, there's that,
I think,
or have a third category.
The whole thing up.
Yeah, you
Men,
can
women identify as.
Whippets.
Yeah.
I identify as a cheater.
There's all of that now.
Then you'd be there all day, wouldn't you? Because there's genders now, I think, isn't there? They, them, pronouns.
It's all controversial though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I don't think it'll ever go away.
Yeah, well, it's controversial to the minority. I don't think it's controversial to most of the population, if I'm honest with you.
I disagree. I think it's controversial to... It's not controversial to most of the population of, say, your age group, Danny, but I would challenge that because my children are in their 20s and they think it's really important. And I think that's a gender gap.
Yeah, and it is important.
A generation gap.
Yeah, and it is important socially, but like we talk about, that's why I think the question is specifically about sport, which has been gendered.
Yes.
And it's like, so it's very difficult to sort of like, you can sort of like ethically and as a society accept something, And but when it comes to sport, it's a bit. I think it's a bit of a more sort of like black and white area, isn't it? Sport about fairness and competition.
I think it's fair play at the end of the day. We're looking for fair play.
Of course we are.
Yeah, of course,
And like if you had like women playing men at things like chess that involve brain, then that's not fair either, really, is it, on the men?
I see what you did there.
Well made.
But yeah,
Good,
I'm
Justin,
just trying to be fair.
close this one for us.
Just trying to be nice.
I guess what I'd say, what Denzel just said, is about fairness, and that's what we're trying to. I think that's what we're all struggling with, balancing, and that's why we're so much at each other's throats all the time. It's because we're struggling the fairness in society with the fairness of a sporting event, for example. I think that's why it's a contentious or a sort of incendiary question.
Yeah. All these questions are about that, aren't they? Because if you look at the thing about should transgender women be taken in female prisons, for example, you're trying to balance off trans rights against women's safety. And there isn't a trump card there, there isn't an easy answer. They're both really important and the answer's really difficult. And yet we're in a society where everything has to have a snappy, easy answer that you can meme up on Facebook. Well, that's not real.
And you have to be one side or the other and everything, don't you? And like I said, some of these issues, it's kind of grey areas. It's like, we want equality there, but it doesn't quite work in this setting. And I think that's what the question's about.
Well, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it when we get questions like that in on Left, Right and Centre. So to Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, thank you very, very much for that.